Steven Show, and you are live right here in the studio, the Messenger Studios. Earlene, it's good to see you again.
Hey, how are you, Steven?
I'm wonderful. I see we have Steven here today, too.
We
Hello.
do. My co-host is Steven Spahn for this show.
Yeah.
We have a couple of guests. We have Jason Sutton, and we have John Bevan.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah.
Glad you guys could be here.
We're gonna chit-chat a little bit today about a nonprofit. It is a nonprofit, Julie's Shoes. And that was Jason's wife, and he's going to share a little bit about her life and what we're looking for in this and her legacy and what we're going to do with this group moving forward and how we as a community can support you in this.
It's a tremendous fundraiser.
It really is.
For the last 3 years, I think that I've been involved like publicly and going to all these meetings, and obviously the gun events are awesome in Meade County. But this one has always stood out to me and several others. So
Yeah, so basically, back a couple years ago, Julie got diagnosed with cancer. And so we knew early on it probably wasn't going to be very good.
Right.
There's always hope. You hold out for the best. But it was August, and we were in Texas at MD Anderson, and they kind of told us that the radiation was going okay, but it got to the point where it was only going to kind of hold it off. It wasn't going to do it. And so John Bevan is my insurance agent, longtime friend, and I knew we had some life insurance there, and I just, what can we do for the community? They've done so much for us over the years. We're both born and raised here, and we love our schools and we love our community. And so what can we do? What can we do that if this doesn't go in our direction? And I didn't tell her because you want to hold out that hope.
Right.
But,
Sure.
But I did call John. I needed somebody to talk to and to say, hey man, what if? And he said, man, you're not going to believe this, but I'm on the Central Kentucky Community Foundation Board, and I had no idea what that was, and regrettably so, because it's a great organization. And so he said, here's some ideas. And so we just talked about donating some of that money to this a cause. And I said, she loves to run, she loves to do CrossFit, she loves to do all that exercise.
Right.
Unlike myself. And so that's I knew that's what she loved, and that's what people knew about her, and she shared a lot through Run with God and all these different things. So shoes. So and John, I think, said Julie Sutton shoes, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. And so then all of a sudden we're like, let's put some of this money toward that, and then how else can we raise some more money? And so it was just incredible. After she passed, the community, donated almost $40,000 or $50,000 right off the bat before we did anything.
Yeah.
We just said, here's what we want to do. We want to buy shoes for kids, and we had that much right off the bat.
Well, and also part of that was the impact that Julie had on the community. She was very well known. She was a very giving person. I'll have to say that when I very first heard about the Julie Sutton shoes, I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I like the way it sounded, Sutton shoes and that sort of thing. But I didn't realize at the very first that it was more athletic shoes, and because I thought princess shoes or something like along those lines, princess shoes, that kind of stuff. And then the more I got into it, the more I understood and got to learn about her life and her legacy, the more I realized how phenomenal, because you're able to draw on all generations. Children as well as adults and even older people.
Everybody needs shoes.
Yeah. Everybody needs shoes, and everybody really should have some kind of movement in their life.
Yes.
Even if it's just walking or hiking or whatever.
Well, it's one of those things too that Jason and I talked about when we were in school. We called we got buddies on. You was kind of one of the things that people would kind of look at you and maybe judge you a little bit about the kind of shoes you got.
Well,
Julie always had fantastic taste in shoes, and I think that the ability to pass that on to some of her students and kids that would have been her students and those other teachers in school, it's just a really cool thing. And it's very unique. It's something that we hadn't seen before, so it's really cool.
Well, it's very catchy, and people want to know. And then even people who didn't know Julie or didn't know anything about her life, the second you start sharing, we're drawn into it. We're drawn into her story.
And her niece played volleyball at the time, and so the volleyball team did the first fundraiser. Of that first $40,000 or $50,000, they actually raised the first $14,000 or $15,000. So we just thought, wow, they were willing to help. And then they said, well, maybe next year we do a fundraiser event where we play some volleyball and get the community involved. Because not everybody wants to come to the dinner. We have a birthday dinner every year, and so on February 12th for her birthday, raise money to honor her. And it's a limited seating. There's only 300 people, and this community is so much bigger than that. So we thought, hey, let's have some fun. Let's do something athletic, and let's raise some money for shoes. So we had a lot of people that got involved through the volleyball tournament. The volleyball team was there being line judges for us. So that's kind of why the volleyball fundraiser kind of came
Why
about.
volleyball was the kind of.
Yeah, somebody said,
Yeah.
well, do softball or do kickball. It's like, well, it's hot outside. Volleyball's inside. It's not weather dependent, and the volleyball team's been so supportive. And so we just so much appreciate those guys.
Now Julie was an educator for what, 28 years, I believe.
Yes,
And so she must have had such a huge impact. You look at 28 years, so somebody, is probably in their 30s
Yeah.
now.
Unfortunately, our students we both were teachers, and so our students are now teaching.
Yeah.
And so just to be able to see that, and
Yeah,
Rachel Simonis is one of the ones that just sticks
Oh,
out.
I know Rachel.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she,
I worked out with Rachel's sister in Taekwondo.
yeah, her and Julie are really close, and it's just they've been family friends for a long time. And so Rachel just is a great example of somebody that knew Julie, and Julie talked to and mentored and turned into even a better teacher and a great person. So just so happy that she had that impact, and that's just one of many that she had an impact on. So I think you're right. The kids that she did, and then the kids that Rachel's going to be able to influence, and just it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's great to have that legacy live on in her cause.
Absolutely,
Shoes. I mean,
absolutely.
It does make a difference. They wouldn't have sayings like walk a mile in their shoes if shoes weren't such an important facet we don't think about.
I didn't think about that. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody needs shoes, regardless of where you are in this world or what your economic situation is or whatever. Every single person needs shoes of some sort.
We had Janae Sutton, my sister-in-law, worked for Hardin County Schools, and so we can talk a little bit more about Baptist Health and how they helped us even spread into Hardin County a bit later. But she sent me a picture from one of the students in Hardin County that got some shoes last year, and the bottom of the sole of the shoe was just gone.
Yeah. Kids shouldn't have to deal with that.
No.
Right.
And unfortunately, it does. We know these outer, even in inner city too. It just kids grow so fast. Parents, grandparents are doing what they can on limited income. But shoes today, it's hard to find anything below $50 just for like
Yeah, just your average
the
pair of
cheap
shoes.
stuff.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the $200 shoes that are out there. And my daughter wanted for soccer. I was like, whoa.
Even Walmart shoes are expensive. You know what I mean? For the kids that are tear through them. So
Well, the other important thing about all of this too is, as Jason and I are starting to our initial conversation to go through this, obviously I'm on the board at the Central Kentucky Community Foundation, and what the Central Community Foundation did, it basically helps to hold assets to be given out to the community through different nonprofits.
Okay.
And they can be either a pass-through, or it can be an endowment.
Okay.
And I think CKCF, and of course it's Central Kentucky, it serves about 11 counties. Meade County is one of those. It's our office is over by ECTC. So we are currently, holding about $40 million in assets that we are distributing out through different funds, like what Jason's doing with Julie Sutton Shoes. And one of the things that I think that I talked to Jason about earlier, I said, look, we can do this and we can give away some shoes, or if we can make this an endowment and you will always give away shoes.
Right.
And that's what Jason wanted to do.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, I had to work with the vet Sweeney. She's the CEO over there, and it's been great to work with. She's such a great community person. We had to kind of lay out some numbers and said, all right, Jason, this is kind of what we think it'll take.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I first showed it to Jason, he's like, oh man, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know your wife, you can do that.
Sure.
Right? This is
Yeah.
just a numbers game, and she affected so many people that we can do this. And I think that, I can't remember what we kind of set our goal around, 300,000 maybe?
I think you originally said 250,000, and then you could spend 6,000 to 8,000 to 10,000 was my goal a year on shoes.
Yeah.
With that, but I thought
Forever.
forever. I said
Wow.
we can't raise $250,000,
Right.
and we're going to get there in year 30.
Oh, wow.
We'll surpass 250,000 in our third year of fundraising, and so now it's like, wow, John was right. Now we can that growth will be there forever as an endowment. So 50 years from now, I'm gone and my grandson's there.
Yeah, and I know that grandson's an important part of
Yes.
it because God willing, that Julie was able to see
Yeah, it was.
the grandchild
Yeah, I'm
being
trying
born
not
from
to
Kelsey.
get too upset.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
appreciate you. Yeah, so whenever she was diagnosed, she didn't want to know, but the
Mhm.
doctor said 9 months, six to 9 months maybe.
Yeah.
And about a week later, Kelsey said she was pregnant. So it was a battle to
Right.
get her to the baby.
Raise
So,
her time.
yeah, I
God.
appreciate you mentioning that because she
Yeah.
was able to hold the baby, and she survived the month past the birth, and
Mhm.
so that was very special.
And that's why that legacy and endowment is
Yeah.
important, because generations past, their
Absolutely.
memory will live on.
Yeah.
You know, and something else about that too, that a lot of times a tragic event happens, we do these 5Ks or we do these different fundraisers. The person you're doing it for never knew about it.
Mhm.
Right.
Julie did know about this,
Yeah.
and she was pretty fired up about, you know what, this is a kind of a cool thing. I am so glad that this is going to outlive me, and it's going to hopefully outlive all of us for that matter. So that was kind of a special thing that Julie was able to be aware
Yeah.
that this project was going to take place, and she was pleased. She was excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think what a wonderful example that you are, because in the midst of getting this information, trying to process what this means for you and your children and living on, things like that, that you thought, I'm going to give what we have, the resources that we have, I'm going to give it back to the community.
Yes.
And the fact that you went ahead and you had such a, like a foundation of what you wanted to do, and that you and Julie were able to speak to it, and she got to have a little bit of input on it. But what a great example, because most of the time, we don't think of this. You know, we don't think, we just are in that moment, and you can't think beyond that. But the fact that you could do that, I think people listening to this and watching the show today may consider that. There are other people in this situation.
And what I would say is, if you are in that situation and you have some resources that you wanted to give,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be a commercial, but we could not have done this without Central Kentucky.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
it's good to know.
I could have said, like Johnson, we could have just spent whatever money we raised, that 40 or 50,000 could have been spent and gone,
Right.
and because I wouldn't have known what to do with it.
Sure.
And maybe I could have put it in a savings account and I could have managed some of that money myself, but the credibility is there, because when I go and say, look, hey, we'd like you to make a donation here, it's going into the Central Kentucky Community Foundation, people see it, they feel it, they know that organization is strong, they know that it's going to be managed well, that it's just not Jason Sutton. So it's
Well, I
not.
think it's very important that you mentioned this,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have known. And, you know, there's countless people that are going to be viewing this over the next week or so that they wouldn't have known. And this gives them at least something to do that's tangible, you know, to be able to move forward.
There's an organization over that has a fund through Central Kentucky, and they do a gymnastics fundraiser every year. And she just called me out of the blue. We went to a luncheon where they kind of talked about some of the different funds that they manage, and she said, I want to give $5,000 to your fund. So she's going to give about half of what she raises this summer to do the Sutton shoes, because it's
Wow.
gymnastics, it's athletic. She was just touched by it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to forget the other name, the
Heels together.
Heels Together. That
Oh,
is what a neat organization that I got to see there at that dinner and talk about how they help young ladies over in Hardin County. So it's just so happens it was heels and it was shoes and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of,
It all
but,
fit
but
together.
there's so many more that are over there that just do so much for the community in Hardin County. And so while I'm on Hardin County, I would like to plug that Baptist Health came on. There's several people from the county that work at Baptist Health, and they said, gosh, we want to support Julie Sutton Shoes. One of our things, our 100 Years of Giving program.
Mhm.
So they helped us give away 260 pairs of shoes in Hardin County. So they helped us do 100 shoes last year for Meade County, 100 for Hardin and LaRue County, which is Baptist Health service area. So without those guys, we wouldn't have been able to give away 360 pairs of shoes.
I mean, this has the potential, to grow, beyond, probably started very grassroots, but really, my prayers are for a national foundation
Right.
someday,
Yeah.
where
Sure.
all kids, that this is able to grow so much, and it's in the right, it takes time, but that it's the awareness. Because I just saw the post about, Meade County in general was like 100 when it got
Right.
started out, now it's grown to Hardin County, which doubled. We have all these surrounding counties, so it's just great to see this growth in such a short time for
Well,
us.
it's all about impact.
Yeah.
Right.
Whenever you have something you can show immediate impact from it, that's when people take notice, and that's why I think this has been such a successful thing that Jason's done. Not only has he put his heart and soul into it, and he truly has, and it's been such a meaningful thing and such a healing thing for Jason and his family and his friends, and it's been healing for me to be able to be a part of this.
Right.
But it's going to be beyond that, and then when people see the impact of how this program works, it very well could grow well beyond what we thought our initial goal was,
Right.
especially does take root into Hardin County and Nelson County and Grayson County and in the area.
Right.
So how do you guys become aware of a need? Like if somebody, how do you get the shoes to
So
people that need
that was
them?
also a blessing. So with my school background, I worked with the family resource centers in all the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And so talking to the vet and John, we said, look, I don't want to be the one to have to decide who gets shoes. I don't want people coming to me. I just want to raise the money and make it grow, and then how do we give it out? So the family resource, they deal with those students day in and day out.
Mhm.
So they know where the need is. They can print their reports out and see certain names. And most, to be honest, they just know the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
But so they every year they gave us 10 names from every school in our district, and then 10 names from every school in Hardin and LaRue County. So that's where those names came from. So then the shoes were distributed out through family resource in every
So
district.
does somebody go and purchase the shoes, or is the person that's receiving the shoes, do they choose?
So we purchased the shoes. They kind of did it like an angel tree almost. So they had a little form they could fill out with the color of their favorite
Yeah.
kind of shoe or their favorite color shoe or whatever.
I love that.
Yeah.
So Nike Air Jordans were on the list? No, I'm just kidding.
They made it. I will admit there was a couple of shoes I thought, there was a pair of boots I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And so somebody, a doctor from Baptist Health, got exactly what the young person wanted. So that kid got to walk into school wearing the exact shoes they wanted to have.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Very neat.
Yeah,
So I like that. And so do you have volunteers that help do that, to get the boots or whatever,
So
to go shopping?
in year one, it was kind of not flying by the seat of our pants, because they had a plan. I felt like I was flying by the But, we took some money, and we went out and bought a few shoes ourselves, but then Family Resource went out, and then they purchased, and then the individuals went out and purchased. So it's kind of a three-leg type thing. The people went out on their own from Baptist Health and bought shoes, Family Resource bought a few, and I bought a few. And then that's how, this year's is gonna be strictly through the Family Resource.
Okay.
So they had, and as John said, the healing factor of it, Melinda Sipes, one of our good friends, who's on the board of Julie Sutton Shoes, she invited Julie's family to go out and shop, so they got to go out and do that. And so then some of her friends went out with another group and got to shop. So it's just neat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, John, I have a question for you. So, when you set up the endowment, obviously that's the gift that keeps on giving down the road.
Yeah.
Obviously, your portfolio for what you do in daily life, was that helpful? Is there other nonprofits that can benefit from going through an endowment process than just constantly doing the grind of raising money? How do you get to that stage? Because we got a lot of nonprofits that work locally for some very deserving reasons, much like Julia Sutton Shoes Fund. How does somebody get into that? Besides your organization, obviously getting the investment and stuff to go into some type of rollover account, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I tell you what, I think that is what, and I told Jason this, and I was on my way to Louisville, and I was exactly where I was, and I was like, I've been on this board, I started on CKCF, like right in the middle of COVID.
Right.
So it took a while for me to figure it out, and it just kind of crystallized that when it comes to charitable dollars that go out, number one, you have to have willing donors that are out there. Willing donors want to deal with trusted organizations to make sure that they give out their dollars. They want them to be used wisely. Okay, and so that's where an organization like the Central Kentucky Community Foundation is such a great conduit to match up organizations that have need with donors who have desire to do good, and they're out there.
Yeah.
And we are actually, CKCF is right in the middle of, probably close to the end now, of a cycle called Granted. And we basically have nonprofit organizations submit to CKCF an application, and then CKCF is going to, and I go and I read the grant applications, and we award out funds to that. But here's the secret. We don't really have that much in that. It's called the Meade Fund. Make a Difference Every Day is what that fund's called. We don't have that much in there in that endowment to fund probably more than one thing.
Right.
But we'll give out, I think last year we gave out $135,000 out of this grant process, and CKCF only gave out about 10. And the reason why is because these organizations came in, they said, hey, we have this need right now for this that falls in this category. and then Devette and her team goes out and matches up donors
Mhm.
or donor advised funds. Maybe some people they go to Devette and they say, look, I've got $100,000. I want to put in here, maybe get it matched through some tax, because there's some tax planning that goes along with that. And then that money is there, and then they can help direct it out to these organizations that have this need.
Okay.
So this granted will come in and we'll fund one of the 35 applications, and then we'll go out and find these donors that says, you know what, that sounds great. I want that kid to have those shoes, right? And but on a little bit bigger scale on these particular grants. So I would encourage any nonprofit, and I'm talking this is Meade County, Breckinridge County, Grayson County, Washington County, Nelson County, LaRue County, obviously Hardin County, all of those to seek out Devette and CKCF just to hey, I'm out here.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of resources, what kind of grant cycles might be out there that I might be able to be in, or I have a donor who wants to help us. Can you help them help us?
Right.
Right? Because that's something else that we'll do too. I mean, it's just it is such a really interesting organization, and Devette is really good. And these are the things that you know, Jason and I have served on the Meade Activity Center board. He is one of my original board members for that. And we always tease it that Jason was the idea guy, right? He had this Derby Palooza. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Huge idea. It's huge.
It's huge. It's going to be great. And then I was like, where's Jason?
Yeah.
I just gave you the idea. So that's kind of the way Devette is at CKCF, is that you come in with this idea of something you want to do. And then she does the stuff that you take for granted. For instance, you talked about buying the shoes. She goes out and works on finding
Shoe
an
company.
arrangement with Carnival, it used to be,
Oh, yeah,
or
uh-huh.
different ones, to get discount pricing so that the dollars that Jason's raising
Or,
on Julie's birthday
Go
go
further.
twice as far.
right.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to be a good steward with your money.
Absolutely, and that's what myself as a donor and other donors that are out there, that's what we want to see when we go to CKCF, is that how are you using the dollars that we're giving you? And if you're using them wisely, then I'm going to come back and do it again.
Right.
If I felt like it was being wasted on administrative cost and things, then that's going to dry up. Now, CKCF, and I'm going to be wrong on this, I think it's been around since the 50s. I think it was there part of the establishment of ECTC.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think it was part of a land grant that they were given. That's what created the foundation to be able to kind of work that, and it's kind of grown from that standpoint. So yeah, it's just, you know, Julie Sutton Shoes is one of the many success stories of that of the foundation when it does. And Jason came last year and was so willing to come to this luncheon to kind of in the foundation world his testimony,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And Devette never does that for something in year one, because it takes so long for it to get established and to get rooted and to find donors. And I mean, day one, it was well on its way,
Good.
and it was a really cool story to tell.
And the impressive thing was there was just, I can't remember how many, there was 3 to 4 presenters that talked that day, and they were all good.
Yeah.
I mean, you just knew that all these people were such caring individuals, and everybody in the audience was there because they cared about their community and they wanted to give.
Right.
It's just a great feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about a community feel of giving and love. That's what CKFC feels like to me. And so I love the way they go about everything. You never feel like they're asking you for money. You know, I
Right.
think it's just like, what can we do to help?
And this is, or correct me, I'm assuming, this is a year-long thing. You know, like some nonprofits really focus on the holidays. You know, they really, really focus on making sure that there are gifts and nutrients, so on and so forth. But at any time throughout the year, the calendar year, if somebody came to you and said, a resource officer came and said, hey, we've got 10 kids that it's April, and we need shoes.
We're not there yet. So what we've tried to focus on right now is just that first start of school, because it's very tangible.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I think that's where the great thing that John and I have talked about is we start kind of small, and then it is kind of what shoes do you need to start school. But then maybe later on as this thing grows, oh, you need the shoes for soccer. You
Right,
need the shoes
that
for
was
wrestling.
that's what I was
Right.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
what can we, where's this thing gonna grow? Where's it gonna go? And so I think right now we try to stay focused, and that's why early on I had a couple of people come to me and directly had my child needs some shoes. I said, look, we don't
Yeah.
really do
Yeah.
that. I said,
Right.
here's why, because
Right.
I can't judge that. So
Right.
we said, let's focus on the start of school.
Yeah.
And then our goal is to have a few extra pair at each school eventually. So
Mhm.
then when they do come in the middle of winter, or they come in the spring and their shoes are worn out, that this family resource will have those backup shoes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's the down the road plan.
Yeah. Now we have a couple events. Now you did have the birthday,
Yes.
the dinner out there at the venue this year. It looked successful from what I see. I wasn't able to
Yeah,
attend this year.
in just the second year, we raised again over $40,000,
Yeah.
almost $50,000 in year two, just during that event.
Looked like a lot of good bourbon. going
Oh
on.
yeah, so
Maybe.
so anytime you put bourbon together, Josh Mitchum
No
paints.
comment.
Yeah. Josh Mitchum painted some bottles for us. David Daly, a former teacher friend of mine, came down. He does tours of Buffalo Trace. So
Yeah.
just had a great feel for the event.
So is that a thing you're going to look at annually, to kind of hosting that, or is that maybe every 5 year or
I think everything
anniversary?
has kind of a lifespan
Kinda
to
see what
it,
things-
and we don't want to continue to just beat the community to death,
Yeah.
and so we think it's kind of a 5-year plan right
Okay.
now. I think we're in year 3. We thought it would take 5 years to get to 250,000. We're going to get that in year 3 next year. So
Yeah.
if we could go 4 years and celebrate her birthday every year and get to that mark, then maybe in year 5 we just have a big birthday celebration and don't even have an
Right.
auction. Just come together and
Yeah.
be thankful for what we've been able to accomplish as a community. But who knows if it continues and people want it, we're going to do kind of a sandy beach theme next year. She
Oh,
loved
nice.
the beach, so kind of flip flops and
Right.
so we'll have a fun theme and keep it interesting as we can.
Yeah.
And like I said, the community's just been so supportive.
Now the biggest thing we have coming up, and reason why I kind of reached out to you
Yeah.
earlier, is because we have the serves, shoes for serves or serves for shoes.
Serves for shoes.
Serves for shoes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
coming.
messes there for me, but
Yeah. That's coming up on the 19th, which is not
Okay.
this weekend, but the next. So last year we had 8 teams, and 16 and above. We're going to host it at Stewart Pepper Middle School.
Right.
The school's very gracious to, we have to have the insurance policies and things, but
Right.
they let us use that facility because they know all the money's going back to the kids in school.
Mhm.
And so this year we've only got 5 teams signed up, so we need at least 3 more
Need
teams.
3 more
So you need
teams.
3
That's
more.
right, 3 more
Okay.
teams. So
All right.
if you're out there and you're a onesie or twosie and you don't have 6 to 8 people to come and play,
Sound off in the comments.
yeah, get on the
That's right.
comments,
That's
say, hey,
right.
let's
Looking-
get
looking for a
together.
team.
Looking for a team.
And I saw here, it's co-ed, you want at least 2 women.
Hopefully
on
have
the
2,
court.
yeah, try to make it fair, because man, the women are just as competitive as the guys. They got pretty fierce last year. We had one all-girls team, they were pretty good. And so, of course, John was on the Bali Llamas.
Bali Llamas.
The
Bali Llamas.
Yeah, that was so my brother Greg and John played together, and
So you don't really have to have real talent.
No,
You can just get
no.
out there and bang that ball.
Yeah.
As demonstrated by
The,
myself.
the
That's
llama
correct.
is what the giveaway is. there.
Yeah.
So right now you have 5 teams. You're looking to get that 8. That just makes the brackets work
A little bit
easier,
easier.
makes it a longer day.
Mhm.
It's a $150 registration. You're really looking for the 14th to be the cutoff date, which isn't a lot of time because people time to
Right.
get out there. And I think the contact is your daughter, and I think all that
Correct,
information's
yes.
on
And
the
there's a phone,
Facebook.
there's a phone
And
number.
we've got on Julie Sutton Shoes Facebook page, all that information's on there. And I know we just got a great lineup of food trucks. They were very supportive last year.
Yeah.
They all donated some money at the end of the day and just spent their day out there for a good cause. So
Yeah.
great food trucks, great fun.
I think if anybody just wants to come watch, which is always fun to
Yeah,
watch your
that's what I was gonna say.
community teachers, people that work around the community go at it.
Well, I mean,
It's $5
yeah,
to come in
you've
there.
got it for 6 hours, and
Yeah.
you can just sit there and watch what happens.
Eat some good food.
Trot out to one of those food trucks.
There's
And-
plenty of people to heckle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we're gonna give away a $100 gift card for a pair of shoes. If you pay $5, your name will go in the drawing.
Oh, nice.
Maybe win a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
come on out and enjoy some interesting volleyball and have a chance to win some shoes.
No, I think this is going to be a great thing. And a lot of the information I found, I know we talked about donating. Most of the information I found was through the Facebook page
Yes.
for Julie Sutton
The
Shoes.
Venmo is on there.
It's got the Venmo. It also had a link, I believe, to the
Central Kentucky.
Central Kentucky. So if you wanted to give directly to that organization, people can go on there.
And I will say I've been amazed how there's several donors that kind of give regularly. They may not give one lump sum, but they've
Uh-huh.
given 2 or 3 times over the last 2 years. So that's something you can do through the foundation. It's really, really
Yeah.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be good. Of course, we'll try to get some coverage out there. I believe I covered it last year.
You
played
did.
a good time so much. I was like, I should have played. I think I'll be out of town this year, unfortunately. but-
That's probably why we're down in teams. Well, last year we did it in August after the start of school.
Yeah.
And everybody's back in town from vacations. This year we're running into I've only got 5 players. Half my team's on vacation or they're out of town.
Yeah.
So.
I thought you were going to say the reason why nobody's showing up is because Steve was there last year.
No,
I'm just kidding.
no.
Teasing.
I mean, I'm basically like Maverick and Goose out there.
No, I know.
Go out there, but no, it'll be a good time for people to come out and just, like we said, just enjoy a day. I mean, get out of the heat for the big
Well,
one.
you can't beat that lineup of the food trucks you've got. I mean, goodness,
Yeah.
the cooking leprechaun and let me get a bite. You got coffee at the beginning, ice cream at the end.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, everything you need is gonna be right there. Entertainment, heckling opportunities, food, all for $5.
How do you donate to this organization?
2 ways, like we talked about on the Facebook. You've got the Venmo, so you can go on and Venmo a donation there, and then you can go to the Central Kentucky's website. I think you can click on, you can find us, and I think there's a way to direct you through the website.
You can
Okay.
do that. There should be a link to Julie Sutton Shoes on the CKCF website, Central Kentucky Community Foundation. And if you can, just call over the office, and they'll tell you exactly how to make that contribution. And there are people who might want to use. There is some state credits that are available. If somebody who needs a tax break on, they know they're going to give somebody anyway. They can, if they're giving to an endowment, they can get some additional tax credits, which is not tax deduction, tax credits. Those are really, really nice. So Devette can tell you how to get those things done as well. Also mention while I'm on it, I'm on the board there, but also is Earl Wright. He's actually chairman of the finance committee. I'm chairman of the grants committee, and Dustin Humphrey is also one of our executive directors over there as well. So Meade County is very well represented on that board, and we hope to grow its impact in the Meade County. And and this is Jason's project has been really good at demonstrating how effective it can be.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
When you said call over to the office, did you mean the office for the?
Central Kentucky Community
Do
Foundation.
you have to know that?
I can look it up.
No, I got it. Go ahead. So one of the things I was going to ask you in regards to this organization, we spend a lot of time now with the Messenger focusing on bringing more attention to Meade County and reaching out to our neighbors and stuff, and kind of addressing what's going on in Meade County. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but we've put a lot of energy into our community calendar. It has grown almost its own page. That's how
Almost.
busy Meade County is almost every week.
I know, and it
There's
makes
something
me
to
laugh when
do.
people say, there's nothing to do in Meade County. Tell me that you
Yeah.
haven't looked at the community calendar without
I'm telling me you haven't read the paper. Yeah.
I got that phone number.
Go ahead.
So the phone number, if you have any questions, is 270-737-8393. Thank you, John, for giving that to me. If you guys have any questions about donating, you can call there and ask questions for that. Or just go on the Facebook page, follow the prompts that are there. If you can't make it to one of the events, the dinner or the volleyball show or whatever, and you want to give money, just give money. $20 can be a big deal. It can
Yeah,
stretch
think
things.
about $20 over 20 years, and it grows every year. So your
That's
$20
right.
will put a shoe on kids forever.
Yeah.
Well, you can spend $20 running through the drive-thru at McDonald's. So I mean, this is something that is really just a list of priorities and just deciding if there's nothing wrong with running through the drive-thru at McDonald's, but you can always line up your money to decide, do I want to support this or not or whatever. I want to see everybody have shoes. I think that's a great idea, and I'm really I'm touched by the story. I'm touched at the timeline of how you guys work this out. I love the friendship between the two of you, that you were able to go to John and say, hey, this is what we're thinking of. I love that you were able to discuss this with Julie before her time. And then the other thing I love is that she got to hold the grandbaby.
Yeah, she made it. So
I love that.
Beautiful picture.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great
I
story.
think the community was a lot of prayers to get her that distance. I mean, I know a lot of people were hoping she'd make it and prayed to get her there.
Yeah, and this is such good because you go through our frisks at our school, which is important because those are the family resources. But talking with them, not to say that I understand their full ins and out. They're state funded sometimes, and sometimes those funds aren't available for them to purchase the items that they would like to have for the kids. I mean, they provide everything from, jackets and pants and everything for these kids in the area to keep them warm in the winter. And if that funding from the state isn't just available, I mean, it just goes through the budget process, then what do we have? And we're left with, people like you, helping, you and I think Kevin Roberts is doing his family 5K this year to support a lot of his efforts, and that's what we need. Less government reliance, I always say,
That's
more
right.
on the community.
We have focused on nothing but nonprofits the last year and a half since we've been working the newspaper, and there are so many other organizations just like this one that are doing a great deal of work to lift up our citizens, where I think that it's much better than government interaction. So.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself and take care of your neighbor.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Always. So, we're coming to the end of the show, Earlene, and I want to say thank our guests for being on here today. It's been a beautiful pleasure to hear this story firsthand, a little bit more in depth than just hearing the results or seeing you out in public. This work is a good craft, and we want to support it as best we can. So,
Yeah.
Earlene, your final thoughts for the day?
Well, my thoughts for the day are, what a privilege it is to sit on this side of the mic and to discuss these things with you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come and bless us with this story. It's definitely made an impact. It's making an impact on the community, and I love getting this out. Stephen's going to follow this up with a write-up that we're going to put in the paper, and then we're going to be encouraging people to put their teams together. We need 8 volleyball teams.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get it out on the socials and get it promoted.
We sure will. We'll do our part.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. Y'all have a great day and another tune right here from the Earlene and Steve show. So,
You guys enjoy this.
Sketchy.
I didn't get my number. I was hoping to get the official number.
I thought I had an email.